power. This is not only how we stop Trump, it's how we stop the next one. So Donald Trump, since I know you're watching, I have 4 words for you. Turn the volume up.
Justin.
What's up, brother?
Good morning. Welcome to the newest edition of Coffee with Dude.
How was your Breeders' Cup? We haven't really talked.
I hit Forever Young.
Okay.
That was it. I lost. I had a couple of thirds. I woke up one morning and said I love banishing in the sprint. I don't know what happened there. Oaklawn bias.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Forever Young is a horse that I picked him in the Derby in 24, and I like the horse. I like the connections. Not only that, though, I respect the horse. I think he's a really talented animal, and I thought the race with the Big Scratch, it just made a lot of sense. I watched the replay of the race last year, sandwiched in between a fast pace and, Sierra Leone got the perfect setup. Now, Sierra Leone ran better this year than last year, in my opinion. But
yeah, I was in the BCBC. I hit the juvenile fillies winner, Super Corridora, on day one. We had 1,000 to win on her. Okay. So I think I was up to maybe 14th place at one point, or maybe it was 24th. Anyway, I was up there on the leaderboard, and then I never connected on anything else. In the dirt mile, I was on the name of the Baffert that lost by a nose. I kind of never remember that horse's name, but the one that lost to Nisos.
The race that nobody watched because the Breeders' Cup was the 9th race on the card.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a discussion for another day. But damn, yeah. Come on.
Yeah, so it wasn't, all in all, my handicapping wasn't great. I had one really strong opinion. I probably should have bet much more on that strong opinion and less on the other opinions, but it didn't work out that way.
Mm-hmm.
But it was fun Breeders' Cup, and left with a little bit of cash, just a little bit. And there's an interesting bomb that I like today at Del Mar, which we'll get to.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I wanted to get to the rundown. We have Zorhan the Moron. You know how I feel about this guy. He wins in New York. We'll talk a little bit about the shutdown. I mean, it's 37, 38, 39 days in. Forever Young, the connections did say they are going to run in 2026. I love that. That's good for horse racing. Mm-hmm. And, of course, Saturday action. We'll be talking about, I have a horse that I like. You have a horse that you like. Maybe something else in there. So that's the rundown. So a big election in New York. You saw the little clip to start the show here. My question is for Zohran is, why are you talking about Donald Trump? Aren't you supposed to be helping New York City?
Yeah, and other questions, like he's talked about some things he plans on doing on day one and so forth. But there are things that he can't do because he's the mayor. He's not, he's not the governor, and it would require the state legislature to do things which they've already said they're not going to do. So, right. I think this. I don't have much of an interesting take on what happened in New York City, other than to say we've seen this kind of thing happen before. The Democrats face, they face adversity by digging their heels in and kind of trying to rally their base a little bit. And I think that's sort of what happened here. Donald Trump, rather than saying we need to move more towards the center, they did what they did. Like when John Kerry lost to George Bush in 2004, I heard a lot of people suggest that some of the rhetoric was what cost John Kerry the election. And they responded by nominating Barack Obama, who was even more liberal. So,
right.
And then he won, of course, served 2 terms. But Yeah, I don't think the Democrat Party will move more towards the center. I don't think they're going to let up on the nonsense of,
I agree with you.
you know, biological males competing in sports against girls, and they want open borders. They just come out and say it. One of my biggest problems with liberals, and I have many problems, is they never just come out and admit what everyone already knows. They come up with these convoluted arguments for why they want what they want. Like, they don't want national voter ID laws because they want people to vote illegally. They want people to show up to the polls who aren't who they say they are and cast ballots. Duh. That's exactly why they want it. They want the borders to be open so that there can be a number of things. Cheap labor. They can put more humans into areas that they think it will help them in drawing, whether it's with the census or whatever the case may be.
The census is a big part of it.
Yeah. I mean, just say that's what you are after. Don't come up with these ridiculous arguments that nobody buys into. It's one of the reasons, and you've heard me say this before, that when I was in my 20s, I really solidified my political position as being, more on the conservative side, was because liberals, it just, when you heard them argue or make their points were kind of more emotion based, and they never came out and just said what they wanted. And when that happens, when you don't want to come out and say what it is you're really fighting for, or what really motivates you, or what you think the role of government is supposed to be, you're forced to make these kind of absurd arguments to stand in for the argument that you really want to make. And that's what falls on deaf ears and costs them to have to take unpopular positions. Like, the reality is, I think a huge segment of the liberal population believes that life is horribly unfair and that America is unfair. And they think the role of government is to mitigate that unfairness and to get to achieve payback, and to let the resentment that is built up inside of them over years of feeling like they just got the short end of the stick, that resentment becomes the political motivation, the fire in the belly. And they just won't come out and say what it is that they really want. They want America to be less white, less alpha, and they think the way to achieve that is to open the borders and let biological males play sports and do all the other stupid things they fight for. And this election in New York City, I think, is the manifestation of all that. It's they won't call it communism, but that's what they want. They want everybody to be equal. They don't want to have to look on social media and see pictures of people they resent having happy lives and moving farther and farther away from the middle of the road. They want everybody to be kind of equal. That's why they were for mask mandates. Because what happened during mask mandates? Everybody's face was covered up. We all looked the same. They loved that. And what's going to happen next? I mean, I have friends who voted for Trump who think that the midterms are going to be a bloodbath and that Trump's going to get his ass handed to him and the Democrats are going to win the White House in 2028.
Well, that's not uncommon, though.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay, but it doesn't make it good. I mean, it's still a problem.
Yeah. But the redistrict issues that we're seeing in the Prop 50 that passed in California is kind of aggressive. I want to show you. You were just touching on communism, and I want you to check out. I'm in real estate. I do real estate, as you know, and this is a video of what Zorhan said about apartment buildings.
Go back 5 seconds. Go back right there. Say it again. Listen, folks. Go ahead.
Like this guy refuses to fix it, the city's going to step in, make the repairs, and send them the bill. If that doesn't work, the city's taking over the building. We're putting the worst landlords out of business. And we're going to transform 311 by bringing the latest in cutting-edge technology.
Yeah, Ben Phillips, shout out to him. He sent this clip to me. And he says, we're going to take over the building.
So it's theirs. It's the city's.
So you mean like seize the means of production,
That's
like communists?
Wait a minute.
There you
So
go.
he's saying the quiet part out loud.
Yes.
And people voted for it.
So that's interesting. He's basically just saying it. We'll take over the building. We'll take over grocery stores. We'll take over every part of your life. We'll tell you how to think. You could be a robot. You could be a lemming. You can walk in single file line. We'll give you bread, we'll give you soup, and you vote for us. How does that sound? It's a scary thought. It's a scary thought. And then I don't even want to get into the whole Sharia law aspect of it, because he's not only a communist, but he's a jihadist. Did you hear what his aide said? I forgot the woman's name. She worked in his campaign for something else. Let me just play a quick minute video here of the assistant.
Knows that none of this is in vain, that this is all jihad, that this is all ibadah, and that this is all counted for by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so the conversation of doxing, the conversation of getting arrested and suspended, I think it's time for Muslims to start to say, all right, so what? Do what you want. I'm gonna do what I gotta do, because it's about time to do that. And I know everybody has their own families and has an education and everything. Just a question. We don't want to get doxxed, and we don't want to get suspended, and we don't want to get arrested. How gangsta are you? That's just my question. How much are you willing to do it? And
all right, enough of that. Anyway, she basically said wanted jihad. Let's get arrested, do this. It's really radical. It's really, you think of the Democrat Party. My grandparents were Democrats. My grandmother voted for JFK. JFK's nephew is in the Trump cabinet. We talked about Tulsi Gabbard. We talked about a lot of people in the middle or the center left moving center right. The Democratic Party, they always get mad when I say Democrat Party. They have, they're reinventing and they're morphing into something else that people are just stepping in line. Yes, you have your blue dogs, but you have normal people that were normal Democrats that are just kind of like, oh, maybe I should go this way because I don't like Trump.
Yeah, I mean, I have very conflicting thoughts on this. I know that in the betting markets, the Democrats are strongly favored to retake the House in 2026. Now, I don't think they're favored as heavily as they were, say, 6 months ago, but they're still favored.
Mm-hmm.
I have friends who are Republicans who think that Donald Trump isn't doing the things he said he was going to do. He's not doing anything. He's doing the wrong things, whatever. We're getting involved or sending money to Ukraine and to Israel. And I don't really care that much about that kind of thing. What I cared most about is a return to a normal conversation about what is best for the American people.
Public safety.
Public safety is one of those things. A secure border is another. Jobs, the economy. And it just feels like for many years now, the conversation has been about settling old scores, getting even. And again, I know that it's a bit reductive for me to say things like this, and it sounds mean. And my own kids, who are two girls, 14 and 12, they don't really like it when I say things like this.
Mm.
But I think what really comes down to is a huge chunk of the population, whether it's 15% or 25% or whatever it is, really being resentful at the way life is in America, and they turn that into a vote for Democrats. Like, if you ask a Democrat why they are a Democrat, almost never do you get a concise, coherent explanation for why they're liberal. They get some
orange man bad.
What's that?
Orange man bad.
Yeah, right. It's just so I'm tired of. It's embarrassing. Look, the world is seeing this, and it's like these white male pussies who say things like, who say things like, "Oh, the world is seeing this. The world is the whole world is watching." It's like, why do you care? Why do you care what the French or the Germans think about you?
Well, look at the French and the Germans, and look at London. Look what's happened there.
Yeah,
they're gone. Maybe we should be more like Poland.
Yeah, to be fair, my wife and I were just in London this summer, and it was really nice, and we didn't see any of the riffraff, but I've heard bad things about it. But it's that's all this is. I'm telling you, you reduce everything to the lowest common denominator. The narrative is being shaped by the weakest, most resentful, bitter among us, who are trying to rally as many people as they can to their corner. and change fundamentally the way America operates. And I just think that's not best for the most American people. I also think it's unfortunate that most Americans don't really pay very close attention. And you know, I think a lot of Republicans are like that. I want you to imagine a father with 3 young kids, and he's married to the mother of the kids, and they're a nice, happy, normal family. And every once in a while on a Saturday, the dad's trying to watch a football game, and the kids are running amok, and the mother's doing her best to keep things under control. And, you know, the kids are doing things, and the father's just like ignoring it. Let them do it. Let them have fun. They're leaving me alone. I'm watching the ball game. And then one of the kids says he's going to go out in the backyard. He's going to tear apart the wooden shed, and he's going to get a gallon of gasoline, and he's going to build a 12-foot high bonfire in the backyard. And the father then says, "What? I'm sorry. No, you're not going to do that. I'm putting my foot down. Now I'm getting involved as a father, and I'm not going to allow you to tear down the woodshed and build a bonfire in our backyard," because he'd finally heard enough, and he heard something he didn't like. That's what the election of Trump was, I think, in 2016, and then the re-election in 2024. It was as if a segment of the American population was saying, "I'm sorry, what? We're letting in tens of millions of people illegally? I'm sorry, what? We're boys are going to play girls' sports and then use the girls' bathroom and then sexually assault girls," which did happen more than once. It's documented. And finally, enough Republicans finally operated like that dad who said, "What? I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. We're putting our foot down. We're not doing this anymore. We're voting for Trump." That's what happened. The problem is, I don't think those voters get involved all the time. They're not as motivated because they're busy living their happy lives. And it takes drastic circumstances for them to get engaged and to do something. Whereas on the other side, the Democrats, they're being engaged and resentful is in their DNA at this point. They're not going away. And if anything, they'll come back and do it harder and harder. So, yeah, I've got real concerns about what's going to happen in 2026.
Yeah. This was something Trump said when asked by a reporter about Zorhan.
Beloved New York City may well be led by a communist soon, Zorhan Mandami, who in his nomination speech said he will defy ICE and will not allow ICE to arrest criminal aliens in New York City. Your message to communist Zorhan Mandami?
Well, then we'll have to arrest him. Look, we don't need a communist in this country, but if we have one, I'm going to be watching over him very carefully.
Interesting. So public aid, federal aid is something that the city's going to need. I guess that would have to go through Albany too, but I don't understand his, Mamdani's acceptance speech. So divisive, keen on Trump when he's got a city that needs healing. And then Trump has to respond like, "Hey man, if I have to clean up your city and you're going to stop us, I'm going to have to arrest your ass."
The Democrats that are elected Democrats, they're just giving their voters and their base what their voters and base want, which is tough talk about Trump and how we're going to do this and we're going to do that. That's what keeps them engaged. And that's kind of where the root of the whole Russian collusion thing, where Trump won in 2016.
Right.
The Democrats couldn't let the American people think that that was a legitimate win and that, their narrative was being rejected in favor of Trump's. They had to make it sound like it had been stolen and it wasn't legitimate. They basically had no choice but to take
it was so bizarre. That whole thing, people actually believe that.
Mm-hmm.
Freaky how powerful the media can be.
Can we talk about something that just I think we've talked about this on this show before.
Sure.
I've talked about it a number of times over the last almost 5 years now. We all remember what happened on January 6th. Mm-hmm. The whole January 6th thing with people storming the Capitol and so forth, something about it always struck me as off, a little odd. And little by little, details have come out that have strongly suggested that there was a federal law enforcement presence that may have played a role in the events of that day. So one element of that day, which is been reported, if you've been paying attention, but a lot of people don't even know this happened. My wife really didn't even know this had happened. Was that on January 6th, right around the time that things were escalating at the Capitol, 2 pipe bombs were found in D.C. One of them at the Republican National Committee headquarters, one of them at the Democratic National Committee headquarters. This has been widely reported. I don't know if you're even aware of it. I'm watching your body language now, and I can tell I don't think you were aware of this.
I heard something about it, but I didn't know there was one at the DNC office.
Yeah, there's one at both. Okay,
I heard about the bricks and stuff that were laid around the grounds, and I know that Capitol Police let people in. And
these were pipe bombs. If you Google this and look at it on Twitter, there's 10,000 articles about it. The FBI Patel just did a press conference about this within the last several weeks, showing video of the pipe bomber who they captured on video. Okay. So I've known for years because, even though I live in Florida now, I used to live in Washington, D.C. I know a lot of people who are connected. I know some people who are connected to law enforcement, and it has been common knowledge since the weeks after this event that people in law enforcement knew the identity of the person who placed the pipe bombs. These have just been rumors, but they've been strong rumors. They've been backed up by things. Congress has gotten involved and held hearings demanding answers on this. And what a lot of people had thought all along, including me, was that it was staged, that the pipe bomber was in some way working with the people that we sort of all suspected were involved in turning the January 6th thing into more than what it actually was. And what has come out just in the last couple of days, at least it's the first that I've seen it, is that through some very intense homework and investigation by citizens of this country and by some conservative media, they are almost certain they have the identity of the pipe bomber. And shocker, it's a former Capitol Police officer who now works for the CIA. And the implication, and it's hard to say exactly what this means, but it's shaping a narrative here, is that what happened on January 6th was not some grassroots thing that was white nationalists trying to overthrow the government and prevent Joe Biden from being inaugurated or being, getting the votes or whatever. It was a fake operation created to make Trump look bad and get him out of office so he could never run again. As you recall, they did impeach him a second time as a result of January 6th. He was not convicted, and now he's president again. But what is becoming undeniable is that much or all of what happened on January 6th was a creation by forces in law enforcement, the intelligence community, or in positions of power to somehow hurt Donald Trump. And it sounds like the entire story is about to come out. And a lot of people, myself included, are going to feel vindicated by that.
Interestingly, Nancy Pelosi threw her hat out of re-election. She's famously known for being in the SUV, stating that she knew about knew about the riot, didn't disperse the Capitol Police, and then she's denying it later. But we have her on tape.
Yeah. So and then they had these hearings which were held on national television and you had like Adam Kinzinger like pretending to cry and Dick Cheney's daughter and all these like fake conservatives acting as if what Trump had done was a threat to democracy and he could never Now, luckily, most Americans just went like this. They're like, shut the fuck up.
Justin, you know what I call that day? There was probably 500 people, 300 drunk, in costumes, taking selfies.
Yeah.
And who was the only person that got killed? It was
Ashley Babbitt was her name. And quite frankly, a lot of conservatives like me, a lot of conservatives have said that was totally unjustified and it was murder. I don't agree. Ashley Babbitt was justifiably shot. Because it's just a fact.
I mean, she's trying to come through the front door. She broke a window.
No,
you could say that
it wasn't the front door. Hold on. It was an interior door. Okay. And on the other side of that door were elected officials who are entitled to federal protection.
Okay. Hey, listen, where we are on this side, being on the right side, okay, we can agree with that.
Yeah.
Where the left would be like, no. They would have vigils, they would have riots.
Oh my! Yes, if a minority, a racial minority, or a transgender person had been trying to climb the fence of the White House and had been shot, liberals would be going nuts and calling for the death penalty for the agent
would burn.
The person. So liberals are listen. You can't just distance yourself. We all know who we have nothing in common with.
We got one in the neighborhood here. They're kind of odd. They don't come to they're not in our text group. They don't come to the neighborhood barbecues. It's kind of weird.
Just you want it that way. Distance yourself and don't interact. You're never going to convince them of anything, ever, under any circumstances, because what is motivating them is not logic. You can't use logic and reason to convince someone who is motivated by resentment and emotion and just decades or a lifetime spent feeling inferior. And that's what it is.
Well, okay. So before we get into racing and stuff, I wanted to talk about the shutdown a little bit for a few minutes. The CR, the continuing resolution, clean bill, has been voted down, I want to say 15 times now, 14 for sure. Is it 15? It's been voted down by the Democrats. We need 5 votes. We need 5 votes to open up the government. Democrats want goodies for, illegals. They want this ACA subsidies for illegals, SNAP benefits. I saw a chart where 42% of Pakistani immigrants are on SNAP benefits. And where do you think when is this going to end? Is there going to be a compromise? What does your crystal ball say?
I don't have one, and I don't know, and I didn't know that it had been shot down 15 times. I don't know what's going to happen.
Okay.
I'm not 100%. I mean, one of the problems with this day and age is I have no idea what's true, what headlines I'm reading are real, what videos I'm seeing are artificial intelligence. I just have no idea. What I've heard is that the Democrats want free health care for illegals. Now, I don't know if that's the truth. Fighting for illegals it seems to be a major sticking point for liberals. You can ask why that is. What is the motivation is. I think the answer is obvious. But to answer your question, I don't know when it's going to end. Maybe it will result in a massive reduction in the size of government, which I think would be a good thing.
I can't really blow this up, but it shows the senators. You have Fetterman and one other Democrat that voted to open up the government. All of the Republicans except Rand Paul for some reason. And then there's all the blue on the bottom voting no. We need 5 votes for 60. Trump's talked about the nuclear option, forget the filibuster. Well, give me, 50-50. JD Vance is the tiebreaker. He's talked about doing that, but we're laying off. You fly a lot. 10% of the flights are being canceled because of the lack of personnel at our airports, and now they're talking about it going even larger to 50%. So, that's a public safety issue, and I don't know. We'll see where this goes. I think the Democrats need to open up the government. We need 5 votes. This is the Schumer shutdown. We could talk about all this other stuff and renegotiate health care and all this other stuff later. That's going to be good till the end of the year anyway, December 31st. So let's open up the government, Democrats, and for lack of a better phrase, stop crying like a little bitch.
What do you think is going to happen?
I think the Democrats are dug in. They don't care. They see, Trump is a incumbent lame duck. They're going to point the finger at him and create a public perception that the shutdown is his fault when we need 5 Democrat votes. And Trump's just going to go nuclear, which is probably not a good thing, because in the future, the Democrats will do the same thing if they ever get in power again.
Is it true that Donald Trump is doing things that are corrupt in nature with regard to cryptocurrency and like the Trump family has made tons
No, absolutely not. They have World Liberty Financial. They, his sons, they buy cryptocurrency. They invest in cryptocurrency. Nancy Pelosi came into office in 1987 making $150,000 a year. No, she had $150,000 of net worth. She's going to retire with $240 million. Now, you could say that's luck, but she's known for insider trading. Now, am I saying the Trumps are doing that? No, there is no insider trading with cryptocurrency. You buy cryptos and you hope they go up. They've bought a lot of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and some other investments that have done well in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And I've talked to you about Bitcoin for many years, and I've told everybody to buy at least one Bitcoin when we were at the Hawthorne contest.
Yeah, I know.
2-3 years ago, it was $40,000 a Bitcoin. I'm like, buy one Bitcoin. It hit 125. It's at 100, 105 now. And eventually it's going to be 1 million 10 years from now. One Bitcoin.
You'll be a very wealthy man.
That's the plan. Forever Young.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else to say about politics? I mean, I think we covered everything.
No, we covered it. I think it's just a lot of question marks, and just be smart with your money. Be smart with your investments. Yes,
be very smart. We have a frothy stock market. AI has gone out of control. You heard about Michael Berry shorting NVIDIA and Palantir, which I like a stock called Big Bear. That's the little sister to Palantir. The CEO of that company was in the Trump cabinet during Trump's first term. He's got 2 military contracts. It's an interesting company. BBAI. Do your own research. Not financial advice.
So I like a horse today at Del Mar before we get into Forever Young.
Before we go, you want to go into that first? Okay, we can do that.
No, you're right. Let's do Forever
Young.
I
wanted to talk about Forever Young because I couldn't find the video clip. Did you see the video clip of the connection saying they're going to run in the Saudi Cup again? They're going to go in the Dubai World Cup again. They're bringing him back next year, and they say, well, what about during the summer into the fall? They're like, if he's good, yes, they'll probably run in a 3rd Breeders' Cup. So I think that's good for racing. He got a 111 Beyer speed figure in here. If you're a Beyer speed figure guy, I don't know what his rag was. Excuse me. Or his Equibase number, or whatever number you look at. I thought he did get a nice trip. The Connections of Fierceness were not happy with them being stuck behind a bomb that kind of was stopping on the rail, but I don't know. I thought he had every opportunity to get out of there. Maybe he couldn't get early position, but I thought Forever Young ran his same race he ran last year, except the fractions were a little bit slower, so it worked out. If you look at the fractions in this race, 23, 45, and 4 last year, I think they went 22, 40. Was it 44 and change last year in the Classic? It was insane. It was at least 3 or 4 lengths faster last year early than it was this year. And he hung on and beat Sierra Leone. And I did mention earlier on the pod here that Sierra Leone, I thought, ran a better race this year than last year, because last year everything set up. Mm-hmm. And the replay, we can watch the stretch run here. Let me see if I can blow this up.
Start.
How do I blow this up?
No. You hit the little.
Excuse me.
Right down there. It should be.
Yeah. There should be. How come it's not?
Your mouse isn't letting you move the video.
It's not letting me move it up. For some reason to. Well, anyway.
We all saw it.
Well, we don't have to watch the replay. Everybody watched it. But, yeah, Fierceness was stuck behind, I want to say, was it let me look at the actual. Yeah, it was Contrary Thinking. And they were kind of griping about them being stuck behind that horse for a lot of the race. I don't know. I thought he had every shot to get through there. He saved ground. He had a fair shot, I thought. But
yeah.
What were your thoughts on the Classic, real quick, before we move into our racing today?
Not surprising. I mean, I went with Mind Frame just because I thought there was a chance Mind Frame was a freak of nature and I was going to get 7-1. But I'm not the slightest bit surprised by the exact result. Nothing about it surprised me.
Yeah, all of the horses came home in, I don't know, they didn't really come home that quick. It was, I guess, okay. 24-2 for Forever Young. Sierra Leone a length faster for the final quarter there. But it was an honest pace early. Okay, racing today. I have a horse that I like in the nightcap, I believe, at Del Mar, but let's talk about your play that you like. What track and where are we going?
Del Mar, race 5. It's an allowance optional claimer, non-winners of 2 other than at 1 mile on the turf. Okay. And there is a horse in here that I have I won big on, and this horse has also broken my heart. Number 5, Baltic Fire. I had a big bet on this one in the maiden win in July of 2024. The horse came back in November of that year and really surprised me at 15-1. And I wasn't paying attention in July when this horse was allowed to go off at 57-1.
I remember this.
Also at Del Mar to get the win. If you look at this horse and you eliminate the races without Lasix and you eliminate the stakes tries, which are also without Lasix, and you focus on the routes and maybe pay extra attention to Del Mar, where she has won 3 of 6, you can argue that she's as good as anybody in this field, is in for a tag now, having already won at this level. And I don't believe anyone else in here is in for the tag, and I'm correct. So you have, I don't know why that's totally relevant. I just think it's at Del Mar. It's at a level where she is known to be competitive. She's got a win at a mile at Del Mar. She's got 2 wins at a mile and a 16th. She throws up a really good race about every 3rd or 4th start historically. That's where we are. Lasix back on for the first time in 3 starts. Well, after 2 starts with no Lasix. It post 5 of 9, so not a disadvantageous post. I think has the ability to be in contact early. She's not going to be on the front. She really isn't ever on the front. But she's going to be close-ish. She's not going to be coming from, I don't think, 6 lengths out of it or something. I think she'll be in that sweet spot of 3 lengths out of it, roughly, maybe 2. Should not have to worry about ground loss. I would hope no worse than 2 wide going into the first turn. And the rider has 2 wins on the filly.
This rider was hot coming into the new meet.
Yeah,
0 for 10 now, but this I remember. Was it the Breeders' Cup? Or was it the week before the Breeders' Cup? He won the late pick 3.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't.
But it was a Thursday. I think it was the day before the Friday Breeders' Cup.
Yeah,
I believe. Maybe I'm wrong.
Simon Callahan is not hot. His last win, in fact, was with Baltic Fire back in July at 57-1. Before that, had a win and had a couple wins in June. So, Simon Callahan is not exactly firing on all cylinders.
Not a lot of starts.
Yeah, but, could heat up. And, I don't know. I think this horse is interesting at 15-1 on the morning.
Yeah, 15-1. Let's watch this replay because like you said, look, you got the John C. maybe, okay, whatever. That's a tough race. Then you have a race at Santa Anita in a stake. But now we're returning to the condition.
Yeah.
What was that?
I said historically she does not run well at Santa Anita. She's been a Del Mar runner.
Yeah, and she likes Del Mar.
She breaks from the rail here. She's the one.
They're all in line.
She's the one here, and I noticed a traffic issue at the 316th. We'll pay attention to that as well. But this is the same condition. She's in for the tag. She's won. This is the condition she won at Del Mar. So we're returning to the scene of the crime, or to our riches.
And this is the stakes race, by the way, that we're watching right now.
This one here?
The replay that we're watching, I think, is... Oh, no, it's not. What race are we watching?
No, this is the last win.
Okay. Then everything I said is wrong. She's not the one.
Well, what number is she here?
She's the 6, I think.
She's the... Here, let me see.
Oh, she is.
She's the 6. She's the 6, yeah. And this is the race she's 50-1. Is this the race where you retired for a little while, or was that the other one?
No, you're thinking of Moody Jim.
Moody Jim, that's the one. Okay, so we're covered up here. We're in a good spot. We're chasing a 22-4, 46-3, which is not terribly. That's not really fast going a mile. Little crowded there.
Paradise Lake is 6 down toward the rail. Hopeful is 7th, but only 5 lengths off the lead. Then Circle of Trust, Paris Secret, and Yohani. Rugalak is the one to catch. Candy Bar ranges up alongside. Vibes comes out there 3 wide in behind them. Then
looking to get through, kind of boxed here a little bit, but looking for a seam, waiting. Got horse. Are we going to angle all the way out here? Oh, wow, she wins this?
Hopeful trying to put in a bid. Also, Paradise Lake is splitting horses late. Yohani from far behind has made good progress as well. A driving finish. Who's it going to be? It's going to be a photo finish.
I like that. Nice extension. I'm sure this gallop out was really well. Beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you get a bunch of horses like that at the finish, it's fair to question the quality of the race.
Well, I don't know. Look, you didn't get to extend out the race. The number came back good. Once she found room, really gathered momentum there.
Yeah, I mean, if buyer speed figures are how you gauge a horse's ability, and for most horse players, it is not the proper way to do it. But, you know, she's capable of running something in the upper 80s. And if she does that today, she's going to be right there at the wire, if you believe in buyer speed figures. You know, I think Wordplay is an obvious contender, but breaks from post 9. You've got the 8, Hannah Buckle, who's been off since August.
Wordplay looks like a TOD candidate to me out there.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. It's, you know, I think the 6 goes to the front on the turn back for Barrios, and I respect the 6.
Yeah, the 6 will show some speed, and I wonder what the 4 does. Fast on dirt, sprinted down the hill on the comebacker, second off a layoff, stretching back out. That horse should be keen as well. So 4, 6, and the 9 will be out there. 9's going to get hung wide. And we could cover up here nicely. Get first run on any really deep closers who, I don't know, whoever that might be.
Yeah, so I think if we get 10, 12 to 1 on Baltic Fire, I think she's very interesting.
Well, here's the deal. You're getting 15 to 1 morning line. We're not giving out a 7 to 2 horse here. And I like it because if you look at the last 2 Del Mar races, they're wins outside of the stake in the John C. Maybe. You throw that one out. That was, the waters were too deep. But now we're in a swimming pool where we can do some damage and lap everybody here. I like it. I think the play is interesting. In for the 80, I don't look into that too much. They paid 70. The horse has made a little money. You know, it's 4 going on 5. They're not going to breed the horse, right? So, yeah, they're 80,000 is a lot of money.
What's your play of the day?
Well, in the last race, well, first of all, before we get into it, we are scratching Dino's Dixie in race 5. We wanted to run yesterday. We missed the race with Lee with the Breeders' Cup and with us getting 5 mares prepped for the sale down at Keeneland. We missed it. We're scratching out of this race because it came up much tougher than we wanted. We're going to run him in a state-bred Cal A other than in a couple of weeks, and he's doing really well. And we feel really good about him sprinting out there with Lee. So look for him in a couple of weeks. This was an open 25 that, could he have hit the board, maybe win? I don't know, maybe, but it came up tougher than we wanted, and it's not our first preference. In the last race, I like a horse by the name of King of Dragons. King of Dragons is in a new barn with Fresu up, and
by the way, Steve-O, we had this horse the day that the horse broke the maiden at the Hawthorne contest.
Okay, that's probably
a year
maybe
ago.
that's where maybe I'm coming up with this too subconsciously, because I did forget about that. You have a memory like a damn killer whale, and I knew you would remember that. So thank you for that. Debut had some issues, was rank, everything else at Del Mar. The other race at Del Mar was pretty nice. We could watch a replay of that. Gelded, okay. Now, we haven't seen it since February. Switches barns. Peter Urton's done pretty well with these, 24% first turn. I do have let me see here. I do have a work, if I can get it. I don't know what happened to it, but oh, here it is. Share this instead. Now, this was the work 2 back. He's in front, Stay Hot's behind. He's not an imposing looking horse, at least not compared to Stay Hot. But what I liked about this work is, I guess they purposely had him out there. They're probably looking for a target for the other one. And you could see that King of Dragons is well within himself here. And when Stay Hot comes to him in the lane here, he's relaxed and actually gallops out really strong here. And then they give him a little maintenance 3/8 in his next work.
Okay.
You can see Stay Hot coming up here. And then we're keep going. Now, you could say that maybe they were only working a half. It shows 48 and 2, but I like the way that King of Dragons extended here. And I thought it was a nice work. I mean, you can't, when you're looking at these turf horses on dirt, you just want to see them moving well. This one was off for a while. Why was it off? Don't really know. Obviously, something was wrong. They gelded him since. This is the famous Carl Broberg nuts off angle.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times these wake up. And from early on in your 3-year-old season to later on into almost your 4-year-old season, these horses mature a lot. So when you look at the numbers compared to the rest of the field, you're like, but it doesn't look that bad. I mean, there's a couple in there.
You're ending the pick 5, and I'm starting the pick 5.
That's very interesting.
So single R2 and
yeah. 7 works in preparation, 8-1. We'll watch a replay of the race almost a year ago. We are number 5. A little bit of crowding early, but that's horse racing on turf.
Mm-hmm.
In a good spot. Little rank.
I don't think the viewers are seeing the replay.
Oh, really? Are you not?
Mm-mm.
Okay, hold on. Let me, my bad. It wasn't up there for some reason. Let's restart it.
And Miles Finch goes
Okay, number 5 here.
No poking around, showing
My bad,
speed.
guys.
3 Georges from the outside is
So,
out fast.
a little rank
Checks on the
here,
way,
but
came out
okay.
running in
No
fourth.
big
And
deal.
Day at the track, followed by Mark the Money Man, who races inside of King of Dragons as the field races for that turn.
And this is the race that we
saving all the ground, just
won.
getting inside of riding by.
Okay.
And Sabretooth, the big
We were at
back of the pack.
This
right
is the day of the
and 12 lengths
the
off
shit-cident, I think.
So they make their way to the backstretch here.
The what?
No poking around
The day where the guy shit the floor at the OTB.
Oh, that was it. Yeah, it was. Yeah, we were all there. We had the whole Lone Speed crew there.
3 Georges is taking a neck lead. On the inside is no poking around.
So you can see I broke in a tangle a little bit. I was rank. Now I'm a little wide. Me and you were probably like screaming at first, and then we're like, okay, like relax.
Sabretooth still about 6 lengths behind, racing to the
I feel like we're in a good spot now. I like being more covered up than being wide and making that early move. So
46.79 was the half. Around the turn they go. It's no poking around the leader. Plenty of competition.
definitely a.
Way to the top of the stretch. Miles Finch moves up.
Now we're going to come up the rail, and there's a 2 to 5 shot here that we end up beating. Here comes the 2 to 5 shot in the 7 way on the outside.
Sabretooth is coming. King of Dragons is down toward the inside. Sabretooth, King of Dragons coming up the fence. King of Dragons, Sabretooth, King of Dragons won it.
So I thought that was a really good effort. And you're talking about a horse that, was basically 90 days into his 3-year-old season at that point in time. So I think this horse has grown up a lot, and it's a horse that at 8 to 1, you're 15 to 1. I think we have a couple of decent price plays here. Known Agenda is a lot of people are kind of like on this horse for some reason. I don't see it. The 7 is going to show some speed. I think I don't know. I should get a nice setup. I feel like there's plenty of pace signed on. And if I can just relax this horse and look, will it need a race? I think it's talented enough where even if it needs a race, it could beat this bunch. I think it's going to run a big race today.
All right. Well, there's our 2, bro. I mean, I think let's nail this pick 5. What do you say?
Yeah, as far as the rest of the races on the card, if you wanted to throw something in there, there's another turf race, race 7. I glanced at this. I had a hard time figuring something out, but I don't know. We'll look at something there, go a little deep maybe. The 5 is getting first turf. I don't know about that one. The 3 might have a shot to wire in here. I don't know. As far as the dirt races go, you got a stake in race 7. I do have a trip note on the, I had a trip note on the 1, 2 back, 3 back, and then it won its next start. That's why you put trip notes in. Maybe I missed that race though. But anyway,
I got to bounce.
Anyway, yeah, you can bounce. Hey, listen, we got a couple of horses in. We talked about some politics. Let's do the next coffee with Dew. We got to do let's do one of these a month.
Hey, hey, if we hit this pick 5 tonight, let's do it tomorrow.
Boom, I'm in.
If both our horses win, we do it tomorrow.
I agree. Let's do one tomorrow, and let's win today. Justin, good seeing you. Happy Saturday.
Yep.
I'm going to watch my nephew playing a football game in DeKalb, Illinois. He's in a tournament. He's playing quarterback. The kid's a phenom. And I got another nephew that's playing hockey tomorrow. 7 years old. The kid looks like Connor Bedard on the Blackhawks.
It's phenomenal. The Stamanovich family has produced some athletes. I love it, brother. Be good, and let's talk tomorrow because both our horses win today.
Let's do it. A recap for our pick 5 wins.
Later, buddy.
Later, everybody.